What is up, crazy fam? Guys, listen up. In today's video, we are gonna break down the best heavy build in the game that my teammate was running as we were making our way to top 500. As you guys know, we made it there and we were using light, medium, and heavy. We're not running triple mediums, double medium heavy, none of that stuff. Just one class per team, and it was super fun. And the heavy class really does play a huge role. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna interview a top 500 player, and he's gonna explain to us why he uses everything that he does, starting from weapons, gadgets. And if you enjoy playing the heavy class, this video is for you. This build will easily take your gameplay to the next level. So let's not waste more time and hop right into it. The link to his channel is going to be in the description, so make sure to check that out. Show the man some love. He's an absolute beast. What's up, Dream? The first question that I want to throw at you is, what do you think is the best weapon for you? Because I remember that when we started off, obviously before the changes, you were rocking the shotgun, right? You were absolutely destroying people. Your thoughts on the best weapon currently, and do you think the shotgun is still viable?
I think the shotgun is definitely still viable, but I think the best weapon currently after the changes is the LMG, the 47 mag LMG. The second LMG that you get, the one that you have to unlock.
Yes.
That one I think
Let me take a look. Boom, right here. The Lewis gun, right?
The current best weapon for the heavy class. Yeah, does a lot of damage, body shots, does a lot of damage, headshots, you know, more mag than any of the ARs in the game. I think after the change, the shotgun's range was the biggest thing that was impacted. It's not so much that it can't still melt up close, and of course with the way the heavy works, you can force them to get up close, but I think before the change, I would be able to fight an AR from mid-range and still win that a lot of the times. I think you can't do that anymore. And even though a lot of the game can be forced close quarters, I think that you're hurting your team if you're using only that close quarter weapon now, that you can't really help at all from mid-range.
Before we go over like the other gadgets, I want to talk about the specialization that you're going to be using, because I know that that is a huge thing that you incorporate with your gunplay, right? So we can showcase that here. So let's jump into the game and I want to see it like up close. Okay, so let's go over the techniques that you use with your mesh shield, because that is the specialization that you use in combination with your weapons, right? So let's take a look.
Absolutely. So what's really cool about the mesh shield is the biggest problem of the heavy is you have the biggest hitbox in the game. The biggest head hitbox, the biggest body hitbox. So even though you have the most health, I mean, any gun in the game, if it's hitting headshots, is going to melt you instantly. So the way to counter that, especially you being the slowest moving class with the least amount of mobility, is you have the mesh shield for extra health. Everything in front of you is blocked. 1,100 health. Say somebody throws a grenade, you can angle the shield down to block any kind of form of damage. Okay. One of the cool things is if you're in a fight, you can fire some shots and instantly shield to block their shots, and then back into firing shots.
That's very strong in like 1v1 situations, even 1v2, or even 1v3 situations actually, because you can also time the reload too, right, of the enemy. You see their reload and then you just turn off your mesh shield and absolutely destroy them, especially since you have a bigger mag than most other classes.
Absolutely. One of the really cool things is you kind of get a feeling.
So
you get a feeling for.
He's like, let's go there, bro. I'm so sorry. We're making a video, bro. You got to do it on your own this time. It's your mission.
You'll be sitting there. You'll be blocking, and it's even like it's an amazing feeling to know. Oh, that FCAR or that AK is about to run out of ammo, and you'll actually turn it off early, so that the end of their mag actually does hit you before they even start reloading, but you know you're not going to die. And then now you're spraying them before the reload starts as they're starting to reload. I mean, it's an amazing feeling when your timing is that in sync and you start really getting into the mind games of what you can do with this shield. Another really cool thing is, even though you don't see anything visually, if I try to crouch right now, I actually crouch. But if you push the sprint button while you're in, you can actually slide.
With your mesh shield up, you can slide if you're pressing your sprint, correct?
Uh-huh.
Damn, okay, so that's pretty insane right there. That makes the movement better even with your mesh shield up. And if I remember correctly, you were also able to melee with your mesh shield. Yes, a lot of people feel like do not know that. That can also be a game changer when people, you know, you're one shot and people are trying to push you and like kind of like, you know, melee you to hit you with that for that last bit of health that you have left. So yeah, those two things are very important. Now let's move on a little bit to the gadget side of it. Obviously, you're running the C4, what in my opinion is one of the most powerful tools in the game, if not the most powerful tool in the game. What are the best ways to utilize a C4?
So probably because C4 has been in, you know, every Call of Duty since the beginning of time, they tried to curb some of the more broken aspects of it, which is being able to toss it at somebody and instantly detonate like midair. You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's actually a delay on when it arms. So you have to keep that in mind. It's a lot more of a trap-based thing where you would have to, say you're running away from somebody. I get a lot of my kills like this. You maybe get one kill.
Yep.
And you have maybe another team or his team pushing you. You run up, you break line of sight, instantly put a C4 behind you as you're running, and then when they come in the room behind you,
you destroy them. But all of this happens when you pretty much break the line of sight. So they don't see you dropping the C4. So the setup is much smarter. And that way you can bait him into a C4 and just destroy them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything we just talked about is, of course, the problem with having to arm the C4. You can't just toss it at someone and blow them up. Except, of course, if you...
Oh, God. Here we go. Yeah.
Put it on one of the arena carryables. Now it's armed, in your hand, ready to be detonated. One of the main things is you have to make sure that your C4 is currently out when you pick up the weapon. If you have your weapon out, then when you throw the C4, you're not going to be able to detonate it right away. You'll have to switch back to C4.
You can actually also mesh shield on zip lines, correct? Just like that.
When you're trying to
it doesn't matter
retreat,
what kind of zip line it is. Going down, up.
You can put it to retreat, or say somebody's pushing, you can push them while ziplining.
I haven't really seen a lot of people do that either. Like, I've seen a lot of heavy just try to get away, but they've never used the shield. So I'm guessing not a lot of people realize that because, you know, it's a new game. So people are trying to get used to new things. Let's talk about the rocket launcher. It's pretty obvious, right? It's a high burst damage gadget, which does currently 150 damage, right? Because they did change it a little bit. So it's a direct hit almost on the light class still, and it does destroy them. It's pretty much like a direct counter to them, so to speak. But any other combinations that you like to do with the rocket that is super strong?
Like for most of it is, like you said, obvious. It's a great tool to initiate any kind of combat. You land it next to them, it does instant 100 damage to 150 damage, and then it instantly pulls out your weapon to finish. Like your fastest melts in the game on any of the classes is going to be RPGing them and then instantly into whatever weapon you're using.
So you're using it as a damage opener, so to speak, right? So you open up with it when you have it in a lot of the cases, and then swap to the other weapon and melt them.
Exactly. One of the cool things about all of the Heavy's kit is all of these weapons do high amounts of damage, and you can use in a pinch to blow holes in walls and things like that to give your teams openings, all kinds of angles, things like that. Yeah,
that's what we didn't really touch on that much, is that like all the tools you have, most of the tools, should I say, like C4, rockets, all these things are amazing for destruction, to create like openings. And we've had so many gunfights where we were behind, and then we would kind of take high ground, you would destroy the top, and that gave us just so much more control over the situation. We'd destroy the teams under us much easier compared to if we had just pushed them from the bottom, right? So the destruction is definitely one of the most powerful things that the Heavy Class really has. What about the Dome Shield? How do you use the Dome Shield, and what do you think the most powerful combinations with the Dome Shield, gunfights, all of that really works for the Heavy Class?
So the main way that you can use the Dome Shield in combination with the Mesh Shield is you'll start an engagement with the Mesh Shield, especially if there's an enemy team in front of us, like over here.
Yeah.
They're hurting my Mesh Shield. It's going from that 1100 health down to, 500, 300, 400 health, like that. Pull out the Dome Shield, immediately toss it at the ground. So there'll be maybe a second or two where we don't have shield, where now we have another 300 shield. while they're burning this down, while we're still shooting, my mesh shield's actually recharging. And by the time this goes down, I'll have another 700 health on the mesh shield. Like, it's just a way to extend how much shielding your team can have to maybe win that team fight. Get a pick or just force them off you.
Got it. Okay, so you use it not just as a shield, but as a means to kind of extend the shield rotations that you can do in general.
Yes, yes. And what's really cool is, say if I'm using it or trying to utilize it in a way of surviving a 1v3 situation or a 1v2 or even just a 1v1 where they have the upper hand on you, they're shooting you in the back or something like that. Of course you want to usually break line of sight, but if you can, say we're on this roof and I'm fighting someone and he's winning and I turn around and I jump down, we've broken line of sight, I have shield down, he immediately jumps off to fight me. Now I have basically full health, 300 health dome shield he has to get through before he can hurt me.
And you can shoot through it easily, right? You can destroy him while he's trying to get close to you. Another thing that I've seen you do a lot of the times, and I know this from personal experience because you've saved me so many times, is throw the dome shield at your teammates when they're in a gunfight, when they're in some kind of trouble, right? Just like that. So if I'm shooting somebody over here, you can be up there, down there, doesn't matter. You're just gonna throw it in front of me or on top of me just to give me pretty much more HP and a much easier gunfight. Because if somebody's in a fight with me from over there, I can absolutely destroy them. So technically, boom, we're doing right this. And we're just throwing it at each other and giving each other shields.
Yeah, what's one of the cool things is you want to stay, like, say we're on opposite ends, right? You want to stay outside your dome shield so that they have to, like, say they don't want to try to burn it down and they want to try to get to you. They have to push into it, still can't shoot you, push out of it, then shoot you.
So you pretty much create 2 layers of shields.
Yeah. If you have your mesh shield up, what's really cool is as they're pushing in, you can actually do that slide back into the shield.
Okay, so overall, what would you say is the main goal of the heavy class? How do you play as a heavy class in general to make the most of it, not just for yourself, but above that, for your teammates to make it easier to win games?
Okay, so the main goal of the heavy class is, of course, to stay, like with any of the classes, you have to stay close to your team. You have to team-oriented team play. But if you can burn a lot of their cooldowns on your shields, you're winning gunfights. If they're using RPGs, if they're using thrown C4 barrels, if they're burning their stuns, any of the really big cooldowns that people use, turrets from the medium class, if they're burning it into your shield and not your team, chances are you're going to win that gunfight. Getting really good at activating your shields at the right time and eating frag grenades, all these types of things with your shield is going to help your team win every team fight, hold every position. Like that's the main goal in my opinion, is just using your shields at the opportune times, at the right times to eat up all the enemy's cooldowns.
Okay, Dream, thank you so much for your time. I believe we answered a lot of the questions, and I really enjoy making these kind of interview type videos where we get to pick the brains of some of the best players in the world. I'm also going to be making a similar video where I interview my other teammate, which plays the light class. So stay tuned for that. If you guys did enjoy this video, and only if you did, slap the like button and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, it's free, and it really does help me out a lot. So it would be truly appreciated. And guys, don't forget to hop into those streams here on YouTube. I will also be helping my viewers get to diamond ranks so you guys don't miss out on the diamond skins. So yeah, I would love to see every single one of you guys live on stream. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you on the next one.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I mean, we literally have the best community of all time. Oh! Oh, he got no scoped.